What's up YouTube, Awesome Yugi here, and today I'm here with some sort of a discussion video. I'm going to be telling you my top 5 favorite decks, counting down from 5 to my absolute favorite deck of all time, and I want you to put your top 5 list in the description as well. I'll do some honorable mentions as well, because as you might have known by all of my deck profiles, I've pretty much played every deck you can think of. So it was actually quite difficult for me to make a top 5. I was 100% sure on my number 1 and 2, but everything else was kind of difficult. So I'll do some honorable mentions as well. But without further ado, let's get into my number 5 deck, which is Hat from... I don't know the formats out of my hat, but pretty much the first format Hat was released after the Dragons of Legends. I believe it was the national season of 2014 with the artifacts. You know, the hand artifact trap tricks Corey McDuffie took to the national finish in the United States of America. I absolutely loved that deck. The entire format was pretty good. Because you had a lot of decks which could compete, which is nice, of course. But the pace that had was extremely nice for me. It's actually, as you'll see in this list, I have three explosive decks and then 2 of these really slow grinding decks, which is kind of strange. But that only means that I didn't really have like a play style I prefer over another. For me, it's all in the deck. But yeah, the resource management in Hat with the Sanctums you had, Moral Attack, the amount of destruction you had with the Myrmilias and the Trap Holes as well, the amount of recovery the deck had with Dioneia, Soul Charge, absolutely amazing. I love this deck. I love this format. And yeah, in my opinion, Hat has lived too short. But yeah, I love this deck. My number 4 is going to be Macro Rabbit. Triple Rabbit, triple Tour Guide. I'm definitely talking about that stuff. Not when we only had 2 rabbits or whatever. I wanted the Sangan, I want triple Rabbit, I want triple Tour Guide, I want to summon Rabbit, banish, get out 2 of the Cabazols, overlay Lagia, and set fucking 5, you know? Or set 4 at least. No, you could set 5, right? Yeah, you could set 5. Because at the time of this deck, we didn't have, when you go first, you only have 5 cards. You had your draw phase and stuff, and it was absolutely glorious. And then in your next turn, you top deck your Tour Guide, you summon that, you Levier, bring back the Rescue Rabbit, and make Dolka or something. Good times. Heavy Storm was at 1 as well, so you know it's extremely skillful in that regard. You couldn't just set 5, unless of course you had the Lagia, then it's no problem. Monster Reborn was a thing. This deck was absolutely amazing. You know, standby phase, flip Macrocosmos, and you're allowed to scoop right now. I mean, just this card alone, let me see if, you know, Rescue Rabbit is amazing. The art on this card is amazing. Being able to actually use vanilla monsters was awesome, even though I dead drew them like time after time after time after time. I don't even care. I love that deck. This is actually another extremely grindy deck with me, which means the other decks I'm going to show are explosive. But I love this deck. Actually, the entire format with Macro Rabbit, Windups, and Insectors was extremely good for me because I love Insectors as well. Spoiler, Insector is going to be on the list, but you probably knew that from some of the deck profiles I did. Yeah, people hated this deck. I would have hated it too if I were to be playing against it, but usually when I went to some of the bigger events, I was playing this. I didn't really care all that much. Definitely my number 4. For my number 3, we have Chaos Dragons. Now, I love dragons. I love all dragon archetypes. Dragoonity is going to be a you know, what I call it, an honorable mention, because I love Dragunities as well. Chaos Dragon, not my favorite Dragon archetype of all time. Now I spoiled my number one, but alright. Definitely one of my favorites Dragon archetypes. The Light Pulsar Dragon, BLS, Dark Flare, Red MD of course. Let me put this in the place of where I want to have Future Fusion as well with 5-headed dragon. You know, Future Fusion, send 5 dragons to grave, offer the handshake. You know, that format. At that point in time, Chaos Dragon was absolutely amazing. We had 3 red MDs. Yeah, nothing more to say about it. That deck was so explosive. So this is the first explosive deck on this list. You just put down OTK so fast. You actually had defense with Tragodia and Gorse as well. BLS, who's a monster, Chaos Sorcerer, just the Chaos Engine in its entirety. And all these big dragons that could revive themselves. Eclipse Wyvern, which was amazing, which has some awesome interactions. I also always loved Future Fusion as a card. So yeah, that was absolutely amazing for me. And definitely on the stage here with the 3rd place. Now my 2nd place, no, let's go to some honorable mentions first. I don't know if you actually have all those here. But some other decks. Shadow is definitely something that I at first wanted to put in my top 5, but I just had these decks that I loved more, which is unfortunate because right now, for the decks that you can actually play competitively, Shadow is without a doubt my favorites, but by far. That deck has been changing so much and it can adapt so well, and it's as an engine it's actually really good in a lot of decks as well. So Shadow, amazing deck. Let's see what else. Like I said, Dragoonity as an honorable mention. I've always loved Dragoonity. Just the Ravine combos you can do, or just the combos with you can do with the deck in general. Another deck I've been liking, but that's mostly because of, I think, the anime. I think because I've always loved Gravekeepers, but I can point out, you know, in the deck which I really liked. I think like the sturdiness as well of the deck, but I like I said, I think mostly because I always liked Bakura and Marik in the anime, and you know that kind of linked with Gravekeepers. What else is there? I actually like Necros. I know that's kind of bad. I wasn't considering it for the top 5, not like that. But that's it might be in the top 10. I'm not even sure. It might not be. Gladiator Beast definitely would be in the top 10. Gladiator Beast is an amazing deck. Are there any Lightsworn? I could forget about Lightsworn. Lightsworn. I kind of hate the deck because I have the worst luck ever, and of course it is somewhat of a luck-based deck, but you know, with the bad luck, getting that deck to work is really challenging, and that's really cool for me. As well as sometimes you just have stuff and dropping JD, and then, you know, like this is a game by far. Fuck it, BLS. Why the fuck not? You know. That's definitely a deck that would be in my top 10. And yeah, I think that's it for the honorable mention. I like playing a lot of decks, other decks. Evil Swarm is definitely a deck I've always liked. As well as Spellbook's Prophecy, cool deck. Heroes in some fashion. But yeah, let's just go to my top 2, because these are the decks, both of them by far, like there's a giant hole between these 2 decks and all the other decks, and even between these 2 there's still a big gap. My number 2 is going to be Insectors, and then I'm actually, you know, all these other decks I love when they were OP, you know, in their best stage at the game, but Insector actually not. I'm not talking about Insectors when you have triple Hornet and triple Dragonfly. I mean, that was kind of cool. But at that point, it was kind of stupid, to be honest. I loved in Sector when you had one Hornet and one Dragonfly. That made for some extremely innovative attacks in your deck, or just construction of the deck. It made the deck extremely skillful. Probably one of the more skillful decks to play at that point in time, because I'm talking Nationals 2013 with Mermill being the best deck, Fire Fist, Spellbook with Spellbook at Fate still at 3. At that point in time, or just at pretty much exact or from the point where Hornet and Dragonfly got hit, this deck just became my favorite up until the release of Lord of Sacking Galaxy. No? It's called that? I think so. Probably. But at that point we did get the Dragon Rulers, which became my favorite deck of all time. Actually can find Tidal and Blaster fast, so I just have these two. But Insector's my number 2 by far. But we did get these guys, and like I said, dragons have always been within Yu-Gi-Oh! At least I was the Blue Eyes White Dragon guy, you know. Within Yu-Gi-Oh! Dragons have been the best thing ever. You know, some people like spellcasters, some people like zombies, some people like fiends, whatever. Dragons, 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 dragons all fucking day. I absolutely loved. If I would split this up, these would be the top 3 in their entirety. You have the Dragon Rulers, full fucking force, super rejuvenation, get your ass handed to you, which might actually be my personal favorite. Then you had the Dragon Ravine Dragon Rulers with Trigon, which was awesome. The mirror matches of those were extremely skillful. Actually, the mirror matches just with the super rejuvenation as well. But they could be kind of sacky, you know, if some guy had the super rejuvenation for 6 and you didn't, then, you know, it was going to get difficult. But also the Dragunity Rulers, which would probably be the 3rd. So full force, my number 1. Trigon Rulers, my number 2, and then Dragunity Rulers, my number 3. But I just, you know, I put them together with Dragon Rulers, and then Dragon Rulers are my number 1. Actually, the number 4 spot would be Dragon Rulers as well. After all the Rulers were put to 1, you still had a good deck with a Blue Eyes discard engine with Soul Charge mainly. And this deck was still a threat at that point, making Felgrants and Draco stacks, and I absolutely loved that version of the deck as well. I want all of these to come back to 1, definitely, without a doubt. And that would make Yu-Gi-Oh! A lot more interesting for me. I love these guys. I know a lot of people hate them and thought they weren't skillful. They were. You know, people that said they weren't skillful just weren't playing these. We're pretty much losing to them, and because they were losing, they say, oh, it's not skillful. Yeah, you're kind of a simpleton, but that's to decide. I got beat by these like a lot of times because I got completely outplayed. And I won because of these guys, because I outplayed opponents. So, extremely skillful deck, which I like. Knowing what your opponent's playing, which I kind of like, because that also gives you more skill. If you know your opponent's deck, your interactions are going to be a lot more skill based as well, which I liked. And just the art on these guys is amazing. So I'll leave it at that. My top 5: Dragon Rulers 1, Insectors 2, Chaos Dragons 3, Macro Rabbit 4, and then had as my number 5 honorable mentions mostly Shaddoll, which would probably be my number 6. In the comment section down below, let me know your top 5 and what you think of my top 5. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!